I guess I always guessed I was coming to Jesuit. My father was involved in the actual fundraising when the school was built. Went to St. Thomas More grade school, and there was a bunch of us all decided well, Jesuit would be the place to go. So it's kind of just natural.
It was my choice, and it's one of those fun stories. My cousin was in the first graduating class, and so being 4 years older than I was, I followed him out here for all the football games. In fact, I spent one Saturday helping him put the boards on Cronin Field, which they had made all the freshmen and sophomore time do. So I grew to love the school. The grade school we went to, we had I think 14 kids came from Northeastport and came out here. So I look forward to it. It was a real adventure. So, current events, obviously we were in the midst of the Cold War. We were afraid, we had the Cuban blockade. We thought that was kind of exciting. And then the saddest thing happened, I believe we were juniors, is when Kennedy was assassinated.
Well, there weren't many buildings. There were two wings, freshman sophomore wing and the junior senior wing here. There was a cafeteria, and then the chapel was built, and then there was then also a residence on the other side of the cafeteria that held where the Jesuits lived. But right out here was the best place in the whole campus, and there was a blacktop basketball court, and we had many days that we'd be out there playing pickup games.
Had my little black horn-rimmed glasses, so I was one of the nerdy kids. But the nice thing about going at the time to an all-boys school is that everyone was so friendly and so caring about each other. Again, the memories I have and the relationships I've made and still have was just wonderful.
Student government for 4 years. I also was president of the service club, which basically was a club doing somewhat like doing now. We food drives and various things in the community. Also involved in Sodality, which was a religious organization. Debate was probably the biggest. I spent 4 years on the debate team, and we had a great debate coach, Father Kendall, at the time, which taught us a lot. So it was a good variety of things to do in Jesuit.
Activity-wise, again, I was the nerdy guy, so I was like in the freshman choir, the choral group. I was on the bowling team. We have Tom Everett's coming. I hope you remember this. He recruited me to be on his freshman cheerleading team.
There were a lot of great teachers. Freshman year, I remember first time I met Father Robinson on campus. He was a Mr. Robinson at the time, and he basically scared the heck out of all of us as we went to our freshman history class. And over the years, we all decided, well, we tried to figure out how we could make him smile. I think we did the day we graduated, but that was about it. But he was a phenomenally good teacher. There were a lot of other teachers. Father L. Patrick Carroll was really an inspiration.
One of the favorites, and I think everyone at the reunion will tell you that, was at the time was Mr. Robinson, not Father Robinson. And then we had the coach of the football team, Mr. Allen, who taught us algebra, and especially the highlight I have of him is when the World Series came on. He let us watch the World Series on TV instead of going there. Just a lot of people. Eddie Newcomer, unfortunately, just passed away. His life went a whole different direction. He was a comedian, and that was his goal in life. He became a famous comedian here, especially locally. And then there was this tall, sort of obnoxious fellow who's now a dentist. I think his name is Doherty. John became the basketball star, not only of our school, but in the league, in the state. So, and then of course we had the varsity baseball, but there were some real characters. So, like I said, those relationships that we formed have been so long lasting. It's just been a thrill.
So I was an experienced teacher. I had done a year. I felt like I knew what I was doing. And when they showed up, it was quite an experience because they were alive and they were with you. And it was one of the great experiences, it still is one of the great experiences I had as a teacher here. Now, those 3 years as a scholastic, I was a basketball coach, a football coach, a golf coach, a baseball coach. You can't do all those at once, but over those 3 years, I got involved in all of that. They were very good at almost anything they set their mind to. That's the way I feel about the class of '64.
I also got my chance to get back involved with Jesuit, and that was in the '80s. I was asked to be on the board of trustees, and I did go on the board. Finally, we made the decision in 1988 to go ahead and go co-ed, so that was probably the highlight of my time as on the chair of the board of the school.
Well, you know, at the time it sounded really silly. You know, we had to take Latin, so we had to learn what the motto stood for. But the Men Forever for Others is truly something that was embedded with me when we went out. So I think the fellowship that I got really influenced me to meet people and to be outgoing and to be sincere with them. Has really carried on, because I really in my heart feel that we need to be helping people who aren't as blessed as we are.
Well, I think it probably goes back to the model of the school, Aje Quadrages, which do well what you're doing. Basically, it's the same idea, just a lot more sophisticated than it was.
We say, well, be a person for others, be a man or a woman for others, and so on. Yes, we look around and we say, well, we're doing all these marvelous things in athletics and so on. But people who think that that's all we do here are making a serious mistake. There are too many other great activities going on here. The drama, the choral activities, all that sort of thing is part of what makes this school what it is. We talk about community. I think there was real community among those young people back then. I think they have a very strong loyalty to each other.